the anniversary, the 5th anniversary of Metre siding. I started it 5 years ago in 2020, and what I'm going to do here in a minute or two is just give you, show you some video of the entire layout. I took it on my iPhone, so there's, I didn't speak when I was videoing, so there's no sound, but it should be pretty well self-explanatory. A few days. Ever since my wife got me corralled into going on to CTV and CBC, I have had a wonderful experience. And even the mayor of Espanola showed up at the house here with a photographer and took more pictures and stuff. And that visit, I think, is on the Espanola town site, Facebook. The other thing I've done is I've created a Metre siding Facebook page where I'll be posting pictures and activities. I'm going to be a little bit more diligent about taking pictures, still pictures as I work, so that I can post them there and you can see what I do during the week while I'm not videoing. So we'll run the video now, and then Okay, what are we going to do next? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the new scratch build. In Espanola, we have a dairy, an actual dairy that produces milk and ice cream and everything for lots of parts of the province. They have offices all over the place. They were started in if I remember my history, and when I read, I think it was 1933, and they're still going strong today. Now, I'm just gonna hold on. Let me see here. I hope I've got this right. So this is what Farquhar's looks like. It's a surprisingly large building. I didn't realize until I made the decision to do this that it was as big as it is. And I'll show you in a minute. I made a foam core mock-up of the thing. So it's, but the building itself is, let's see, 144 by 120. There's a 58-foot jut out that's 70 foot wide. And I think there's and then part of the roof is 105 feet long, and one side is 62, and the loading bay for the trucks and stuff is 75. So it's not a small building. Let me switch back to me talking, my talking head here. So this is the size of the building. And I'll just go back to, so this is the street side. There's a brick structure with a tank here. Then it comes around this corner, and this is where there are 3 loading bays and an area to park 2 other trucks. Then it goes back here. This is the back wall, and this is the side wall. So I will be 3D printing this tank that's sitting here, and there's another tank that's attached to the building here with what I think is an electrical system, or electrical something or other maybe there. I'm not sure what it is, but I went in last week on a day which was miserable, but I went in and I took one of my cameras and shot 40 pictures. The building itself is interesting because almost every wall is a different kind of surface. There's shiplap, there's concrete block, there's red brick, there's board and batten siding, metal siding. So it's going to be an interesting build. And I've already ordered some styrene texture sheets for the concrete block wall, and I have scale shiplap wood already in stock here at home. So that's what we're going to do. And for the rest of this video, we're going to talk about wiring. And I got to punch in 6, is it? Or is it 8? It's 8, I think. Yes, it's 8. So we're going to walk over there, and I'm going to take you through how I do my wiring. What I did is I built a little mock-up of how the layout is constructed, and we'll just do a quick demo and show you how I get away with not lying on my back and soldering, which I hate. So I have found these little wire connectors, wire clips that work wonderfully. So let's go over there and I'll see you in a second. Okay, here we are. So my layout is built like this. I have, on the layout it's actually plywood, it's not MDF, but I happen to have a scrap of MDF that was right for this little lecture instructional video. So it's like this with blue insulation foam glued on top. This is, if I remember right, 2 inches, and there is another layer of 1 inch, so it's actually 3 inches of foam, and that allows me to, of course, carve down into it and make, you know, not have a flat tabletop, but have an ability to create terrain. So this is how I do this. Okay, I've got a drill here. It's going to make some noise. So I've got a drill with a very fine drill bit. That's long enough. It's actually long enough to go through a 3 inch and the plywood. So typically what I do is I just take the drill, put it between 2 ties. Well, I got to turn it. I don't want to put a hole in my and then the same on the opposite side. There we go. So now what we're going to do is put the feeders in. Now my feeders are, does it say? 24 gauge, red and black, and this is solid wire. This is not, so I put the red one, okay, first, and I don't strip it before I put it in because that just causes problems. It tends to catch. So I'm just going to lay this on its side, and I always put the red one to the front side, and you got to poke around a bit. Come on. I wonder if I can do it the other way. I might be able to do it. Oh, that's why. I'm going to have to. I didn't drill enough. Now, if I was doing it on the layout, I would obviously be feeding it from the top, so we're going to try that again and feed from the top. Maybe not. Okay, we'll try it from the bottom and see what happens. You know, this worked perfectly yesterday. All right, we'll ream it out a bit. And one more go at this, guys. Sorry. I got to get this. You got to get this wire absolutely straight, or otherwise it's. There we go. That's the way. That's the way that's supposed to happen. And then we take the black one, which is at the rear of the, always at the rear side of the layout. Come on. Again, I got to get this absolutely straight. There we go. All right. Okay, where are my fancy dancy? Yeah. So I have a pair of, hold on, I'm just going to pop on the focus. I got something up on the screen that I don't want. Okay, there. So I've got these cutters, and they do almost everything you need to do, but the most important thing, of course, is they cut wire. So I'm going to cut the black and cut the red. Now I would normally not do that right away. I would pull this through and then pull them to where they're going to hit attach to the main feed for the layout. But for the purposes of this demo, we're going to do it this way. So now I have a pair of wire strippers here, and that nice and clean. All right. So now what I do is I take this and turn it 90 degrees on both of them. And my soldering gun will heats up tremendously quickly. So I'm going to go in the wrong direction. There we go. So the next important thing is to tin both the end of the wire and the rail that you're going to work on. So this is Flux, and I highly recommend you use this stuff. Okay, it just helps with everything sticking to each other better. And now I'm going to put on the side of the rail, I'm going to put some Flux as well. And now I'm going to take, is this, hold on, let me turn that way, that's better. And you want to get it on the side of the rail, not the top of the rail, not the bottom of the rail, but on the side of the rail. Now, if you get it on the top of the rail, you can almost sand it. And now we'll tin the end of this red one. So pick up some solder. Now I'm going to yank on the red one. So it's right and that's one done. So it's rinse and repeat. Again, solder on the wire and solder on the rail. And this is all the soldering I do. I don't do anything else. Okay. All right. I'm going to grab this one with it. Where did I put that Q-tip? There you go. Okay, let's do this again. And grab the solder again. And again on the outside of the rail. And then the same here on the black wire. We'll pick up a little bit more solder. And now now this is always the tricky one. Ouch. Let me get a pair of tweezers. And there we go. That's it. Soldering iron off and out of the way. Now, I know people have all sorts of recommendations about how far apart each feeder should be. What I do is, since I'm using Flex Track and it comes in 36-inch lengths, I tend to put a feeder every 36 inches, or every 3 feet. So now we have the I'm looking around for things while okay, here we go. So again, strip the ends here. I thought I had my, maybe I don't have it. Well, if I have to, I'll go get it. So now we turn this upside down. Now the feed wires, the main bus, is made from what most people would call, lamp cord or speaker wire. So there's a piece of speaker wire. And I'm going to cut it in half. So again, strip the wire. It only needs to be about 1/4 of an inch. Not much more. So there's that side. Now the speaker wire, the difference, how do you tell again which one's red and which one's black, is on the speaker wire there is a black stripe on one side and nothing on the other. So that's how you take. Okay. And this one open. This one is open. And is it that way or is it the other way? I think it's this way. Okay, there's a little clip that snaps on. And of course it's not the easiest thing in the world to snap on, but come on. There we go. That's how you're supposed to do it. All right, so all you do here is open the gates on all of these. The main bus goes in. Let's do this. We'll do the black first. Put the wire in, close it, give it a yank, make sure it's hooked up. On the other side, making sure this one's also the black, and lock it down. Now, put this one in here and lock it down. All right. I do the same again. So again, and I'm going to turn it so it's facing in the opposite direction. That makes it easier to screw to the board. There we go. There we go. And the red wire. Lock that down. Then I would take and put a screw in the little bracket. I'm not going to do that right now. Sorry. Right in there. And hold on. Oh, Jesus. It wasn't as prepared as I thought it was. Where is my staple gun here? Okay, we'll go without it. I have a T59 staple gun that shoots out staples that have insulated covers and will lock this this down. Try that one more time. Okay, that must be out. All right. But you can see that puts in a staple and a staple. So this would go, keep moving along the underneath the layout to the next point where there is a track connector like this. Now the other thing that I have is, of course, 3-volt wiring for my the lights and stuff and accessories that are on the layout. And sorry, I was just getting a drill. So let me find. Now for this, I have a different set of wire and a different way of hooking up the wire. So the first thing I do is I have designed and 3D printed this little holder, and that's going to hold the circuit board that allows me to run the come on. There we go. So this, can you see that? This is a tiny little circuit board that I bought from a company called N-Gauge, I think, where they were a British company, and the guy produced these. No, sorry, not nscenic.co.uk. I don't believe they're in business anymore. So all I have left is 3 of these, so I have to be very judicious about how to do this. So what happens with this is, I'm just getting some M4 bolts. Okay. I designed the little brackets in Fusion 3D, which you can use in a limited form for non-commercial use without having to pay for their honking expensive. Now this can be, once it's on that single screw, it depending on where things are going, it goes like that. On this, I use a smaller gauge wire. Now this is stranded wire. So again, I'm going to twist the ends to make them nice and neat. So with this one, these are screw terminals here. So you just keep it the same as the the main bus where the red is in one location and the black is in another. So this is the red here, goes in. And screws down. Goes in, tighten it up. Now what I tend to do with these is I tend to use them as individual blocks. So this will hold, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12. So this will hold 24. Or actually, it'll hold 12 because you have to pair them. You have to have the pair. So sometimes there is a lead that goes out here. It depends on what's further out. But if there's a reason for there not to be anything attached to this, then I also do just leave it like this. And cut. Now, I'm going to strip this. Twist again. Now there's one other tool that you really have to own. And that's one of these, a multimeter. So I'm going to click this up here. And I'm going to make sure that I've got continuity. Let's see what happens. Select. Select. Okay, so that means I've got continuity. So if I didn't strip these, geez, David. Okay, that's just, so I almost always do. You know, I always regret it if I don't. And the same at the other end. Split them up here. I'll try and edit a lot of this out. But. So I want to make sure I've got continuity. By that I mean there is a circuit. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the multimeter, put it down here. When I touch these two together, it completes a circuit and the multimeter beeps. You can hear that. So, click, put the multimeter on that one. Which one is that? That's the positive. So I've got a circuit going through there. Now I'm going to switch. Now it won't beep now because I'm not on the black one. And you can do the same thing with the small block, and you can clip this to the rail and have it clipped underneath, and that'll tell you you've got continuity. So let's just so this in essence is how I do my wiring. I don't crawl underneath and solder, which I know a lot of people do. All right, and you don't have to use these terminal blocks. You can buy that as a terminal block and use it. The only problem there is there aren't as many of these in these. You can buy longer strips for sure, but I prefer this particular type, and I would love to find out how you go about designing a little board like this and have somebody like PCWay make a bunch of these for me. Anyway, that's it. So as you can see, it's a lot easier than lying on your back and soldering wires together. when you're soldering, I will always have a pair of these hanging around. These are heat sinks, and especially on the rails, because the ties will melt if you're overzealous with your soldering gun. So I would advise you to buy some of these and have them available. So that's how I do it. It's not fancy, but it is. It does work for me. Okay, there we go. So I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank everybody who subscribed over the last little while. It's amazing. We're up over 850. It's absolutely amazing. Like, comment, and subscribe. I will put links in the Show More tab of the tools that I used here, so that you can, if you don't own one and you want to go and get the stuff, you can go and do it. I'll specifically put a link to the three-way connector. So you can see how that works. And I use them all over underneath the layout, and they work really well, really well. So, as always, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate the subscribers. It's amazing. Ever since I became a media star for a little while, things are moving faster on the subscribe front. And I want to thank, there's one gentleman, I won't name him, but there's one gentleman who's been very helpful in getting me set up with my YouTube channel and my Facebook channel. Like I say, there is a Facebook page now. It's called Metre Siding on Facebook, and I will be posting still pictures there of the progress of making. So you'll be able to see me taking still pictures of building Farquhars. So next week we will start Farquhars. I have a bunch of measuring and laser cutting to do, and I'll explain exactly how I go about deciding how high a wall is and where doors go and all that stuff when we're actually building. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.